Hey, Storyteller here. I'm going to talk about the die ranks to dice pool, the heart of the game for the RPGs. Well, evangelism and church planning is the heart of the game. Christianity, Jesus Christ is the heart of the game. But teaching and fellowship and ministry is the heart of the game. But this is a part of it that is the mechanic part of it, the game mechanic part that's very, for me, essential, or what I've come up with as the best of both worlds. But it's also kind of been hard to get across, especially to new players and even veteran RPG players. I mean, I had one veteran guy who's been in this as long as I have, and he said that it took him a while to get this, but once he got it, he loves it and understands and is an advocate for it. And my players who've been playing now with me for 60 episodes, and then I am noticing some of them are getting it and playing it, but then it's still not taking as well as I'd like. The ones that are wanting to be GMs definitely get it, but the ones that just want to play, still a little like, what do I do here? What do I do there? And so yeah, this is an issue for me. I'm having a tough time figuring out how to explain it. To me, it's so simple, but if pretty much everyone is having a hard time grasping it, then there's a problem, and it's on my end, not theirs. So I'm going to try and make this video to explain it again, maybe for my own edification. And I'm working with editing this whole thing here. I just want to show you is I'm revamping the explanation of it. And this is like two pages of copied kind of stuff where I'm trying to rework the explanation. I know it looks complicated right now just because I haven't really addressed it yet. I'm finishing up the campaign module, and I'm going to go back to this in the rule book and really get this going. But I want to explain it in this video again, because I think it's freaking easy, and it solves a lot of issues for me. But no one's getting it, so it's on me. What it solves for me is when you play regular role-playing games, you do a D20 plus your ability score, profession, whatever, like in D&D 5e. You just do a constant number, right? +2, +3, +4, +5. So you get your D20 plus 10. When you get to 10th level, you're going to have a +10 or +12. And that's including your sword and your, whatever bonuses you get, right? It's going to be this constant number, like a +12. Bam, you get a +12 in the D20. So that is a very simple, easy game system to use for a lot of OSRs or a lot of simple role-playing games. Rules light. And I want my thing to be rules light. But what I don't like about it is that it becomes this constant number, +12. You get +12 every roll, and the only way you can fail is really with a 1 or whatever. It's very, the window of failure gets so much smaller that the DM or GM has to create more and more powerful creatures just to deal with you. And then of course you get high hit points and other stuff. So there was a lot of different factors. I could go back to just a constant number just to keep this simple again. +1, +2. I just love having this variety of the dice pool here, and I'm going to explain it. I love the variety of it, and I love that as you go up in levels and stuff, you don't get that powerful too quickly, and it's fun to throw a bunch of die ranks in there. It could be a problem though, because it's adding a lot of sort of dice mechanics that you have to kind of be on top of. I do like it though in the sense of like I can just throw in a bunch of different die ranks bonuses based on the descriptive factors of what's going on. If it's too wet, too cold, too slippery, too steep, those are die ranks 1, 2, 3, 4, like adding to the difficulty of something. I could just simplify this down to make everything a 1, +1, +1, +1, like that, and it might be simpler especially for kids to grasp. So I may have to go that route just to keep this simpler. I just love. Let me just show you this dice pool thing here. Comment on me what you think. If you think I should just go simpler with this, and I'm not making any sense to you, and just do like everyone else, just use numbers. But here's why I like this. I'm actually so you start off with a D20 in your trait, right? Like strength, dexterity, whatever. So that'll be a constant number. You get a plus, and +4 is generally the highest. You can go to +5, but I'll start looking like this at you if you go to higher than that. And there's a rule there: if you go higher, you got to reduce some other trait. But D20 plus, let's say 4. That's what you get. Plus you get one of these as you go up in die ranks, right? This is die rank 1, die rank 2, die rank 3, die rank 4, die rank 5. So if I have 2 die ranks of skill in sewing, I would roll D20 plus my intellect plus a d6. Okay, so that's the potential for success, and 12 being the default. And I, as a GM, can change that 12 based on just a constant number, or I could use the die ranks to increase that number. For instance, let's say that this person is sewing and they don't have a sewing kit. I will say, well, that's one die rank difficulty I'm going to add to your, because you don't have a sewing kit. One die rank difficulty. It's raining. That's another die rank difficulty. You're in the rain. You know, you're in the cold and dark. So I'm 4 die ranks now. You don't have a sewing kit. You're out in the cold. It's dark. And it's raining. So it's 4 die ranks. So it's a D10. So I would roll a D10 and add that to the 12 default to make, that's what their difficulty is. You know, so that's how that works for a GM using difficulty things. Every factor I describe is a die rank that adds to the dice. Now, obviously, you're going to go above the 5 die ranks. There's a D12. You go above it. What do? It turns into a dice pool. So, I mean, this is the little chart here. But if you go up to 6 die ranks, you have a D12, and then you got a D4. It's kind of small there. But I'm going to do something silly here and add. I'm going to do a little dice window here. I just set this up. This is kind of silly, but let's just do it. Okay. So, ta-da! All right. So you have your dice. Check it out. You got the D20, then you got your, this is the new D4s. It's not the painful pyramid one. That's a D4, D6, D8, D10 here, and a D12. Okay. So those are the dice. Now, so you got your D20, you know, plus 4 for my intellect for sewing, because I'm really smart. I'm a professorial sewer. I'm not a woman. If I was a woman sewer, I'd get an extra D4. Because that's how it works. Okay, so D20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's just say I have 6 die rings to sew. I got a 2 die ring sewing kit. I've got 2 die rings in my skill. So that's 4. And then someone blesses me 2 die rings, you know, to do this sewing, whatever it is. I'm embroidering something or making a heraldry to impress the Duke in the nearby town or village. Okay, so what do I do? Okay, so if I have 6 die rings, so 5 goes to there, and then one more is another D4. So I take these ones out. That's my roll. But this is a dice pool, so I keep the highest roll of these 2. That's where that comes into play. So I roll it. Okay, so I got a 9 and a 15. I take out the 1. So obviously I succeed really well. 9, 15 plus 4 is 24, 28 roll. Oof, really high. And that was a lot of die rings that I added there. 2 for my skill, 2 for the sewing kit. I have a really fancy sewing kit, and then 2 for the blessing. So I got that roll. But you know, let's just roll it again because there's a nice I'm going to try to see. So here's a nice range. I rolled 2 3s, so I take out 1. So 9 plus my 4, because I'm really smart, is 13. I still succeed, but barely. 13, I needed a 12. But I was going to say I was going to use the old cold, dark situation, but whatever. My dog's barking. So you can get a range here of rolls which I like in this game. So and I've had plenty of veteran people having 10 or 12. Okay, a 12. What does 12 die ranks look like? 12 die ranks is a D12. That's 5 of the 12. What was the other 12? Don't I have no D12 in here? Of the same color? That's weird. Huh. All right, here. Another D12. That's 2. That's 5 and 5. 5 die rings, 5 die rings. And then I said a 12. So 2 more die rings, which is a D6. See, so that's the dice pool. So let's roll that just for the fun of it. And I need a 24 to succeed at this, whatever this thing, you know, engineering thing. And I got 12 die rings because let's just make this up real quick. This is not the rule. I've got 12 die rings. How did I get 12 die rings? So let's say I got 5 in weapons upgrading. 5 die rings in weapons upgrading. I've got a lab that has 2 die rings because it's a really good lab. 2 die rings worth. Someone else is going to help me. They're going to just do a simple aid, and they have some sort of science, you know, awareness. So they can be my assistant. So that's a 3rd die rank. Somebody blesses me 2 die ranks. They do a blessing. So that's 5 more. So I got 10 total right there. And then 2 more, I add inspired die just because I want to do it, you know, go for it. So that's what this 12 die ranks is. See how You get 5 for this one, 5 for this one, because these are all 5s, and then 2 left over. A remainder is a d6. So, and I need to beat, what I say, 22, 24? I'll say 24. 24. And obviously the GM decides on that 24. And usually the 24 has to, I start at 12, and then whatever they're upgrading to, I add in all those factors, like if of the gun, or what, let's say it's a gun, right? He's upgrading his laser gun. And the factors of the gun are already, it's already got a, 4 die rank, whatever, all these die ranks and stuff. So I add all those up beyond the 12, and then that becomes 24. So he wants to go to a 24. So that's basically how that works. So it's really neat, because I can kind of just look at what's in front of me and figure out the die ranks for them and for me. I don't have to look at any charts. I just have to kind of common sense. Oh, you've got this and you've got that, and those are the die ranks, and we combine those, and then it becomes this dice pool here. So let's roll it just for the fun of it. Nat 20. Well, there you go. And a 6. So the 6. But look at these rolls. Like, what if I could have easily rolled a 2 and failed? With these, even though you have all these die ranks in this thing here, it's not a guaranteed success, and that's to me is like true in life or whatever. And it still makes going up levels and getting a bunch of die ranks and bonus things for gear and magic and items or whatever. It still makes to me more tangible as a GM that they're still like human. They're not superheroes, And I just really like this dice pool system. I like and it does somewhat slow the game down, because they, especially in combat, when they get a lot of different things, they get a blessing, they can have their inspired die when they do their rolls. But then again, the combat does go pretty quick. The vitality, the hit points of the different creatures and people are not that high. You could easily start doing grievous wounds that really on individuals, so that they start getting penalty dice to their rolls, or so I feel like it's a good system, but it's not a good system for new players, and then for players who are casual and don't want to get into all these die rank things and stuff. They just kind of want a basic roll. So that's an issue, and I'm trying to figure out what I should do, because I really do love this thing, and I love being able to put in die ranks. And I'm not afraid of putting in die ranks because I don't get that constant number. If I was putting in a bunch of die ranks, it would just get really kind of, I don't know, it would be a constant number, and it'd be really always kind of start getting high really quickly, so that you're going to succeed. If you have to beat a 12 and all you do is always get above a 12, the default 12 is just a default number. But if you're always going to get a plus 12 at something, or plus 14, you always know you're pretty much going to succeed unless you roll a 1. And that's why I don't like that. I want it. I want that number not to be constant. The bonus not to be constant. I want it to have this little range of rolling dice and being unsure of it. So I want to stick with it, but I'm having a hard time getting that across to players, and especially new players. Like I get it. Like if you want to try to GM this game and you want to bring in players, and they're all new, they're probably young. And this is a Christian role-playing game, so my market is practically nobody at the moment. And so if you want to be a GM in this, and then you got to teach them how to play this, that's a problem. Definitely a problem. So I got to figure that out. So this video is sort of figuring that out with you. If you want to comment, that'd be great. This video is also for my players. I hope that they'll watch it just to give me some intake on it, because if I change it, it's going to be pretty drastic. I mean, I might be at the point where I'm going to send anyone that has bought my hardbound like a new version if I change it. I don't want to, and I want to figure out a way to explain this so kids do get it pretty quickly. And I've had like the veteran players say, "Don't change it. It's pretty cool," but the problem is it's hard to grasp. So initially, and then for the casual player, it's hard to grasp as the game goes on, because doing this whole dice pool, die rank thing here gets a little goofy for them. Like the little chart here is trying to explain it well, but see, this is the chart, and here's the die ranks, and you just got to break it down into the dice pools. But yeah, I guess it gets a little tricky for people. Anyway, So if you guys got any comments about that are my regular views, I appreciate that. Yeah, I want this to be simple to grasp. It is simple to grasp if I think if I took out the die rank thing. So that might be the issue. I don't know. Anyway, okay. So yeah, I'm just working along here, and I'm really putting some brain testing and play testing in it, and I just want to make this very accessible and approachable to Christians, so that we all have a fellowship and can work on evangelism and church planting and teaching that to our kids as they role play it out, as they drill, baby, and not in the sense of oil, but in the sense of, in order to be evangelists, we got to practice, and we got to create an evangelist psyche. And this game is a way of doing that, and also getting you away from the other role-playing games that are just And I'm gonna do another video here on some great missionary movies that are, and there's only a handful out of all of the millions of movies or hundreds of thousands of movies that have been made. But we don't have an evangelist psyche, and the culture, especially the RPG culture, is numbing our minds, dumbing down our minds, so that we don't have an evangelist mindset. And that's, to me, what I'm seeing and noticing and trying to fight against. Okay, the game of life. We got to roll holy dice, whether it's in die ranks or not. We got to roll holy dice. All right.